Come on, come on, Calvin. Come on, Calvin. Come on. Hi, everyone. It's Paris here from Melbourne in Australia. How is everyone? I've got this here because Calvin sits on my shoulder. Now, there's a serious problem in Australia. A serious problem. It has been happening for at least since Australians or since whoever came from overseas to Australia. This has happened, right? And no one is talking about it because they're all making money from it and shutting their mouth. But what's happening in the meantime is that innocent victims are suffering horribly. And I'm talking about birds, whether they're canaries, budgies of parrots, and all sorts of parrots. What's happening is that people, especially now because there is an explosion suddenly of narcissists and gold diggers out there of all backgrounds. They could be lower demographic, they could be middle class, they could be very wealthy. What they're doing is they're exploiting, using, abusing birds. Not only companion birds, which are pet birds, which is a stupid name, they're companion birds. I don't care if you stick them in an aviary outside and never see them, they're companion birds. Because most birds have been stolen from the wild. If you go in parts of Australia, you'll see a lot of budgies flying around and cockatiels. They've been stolen from the wild generations, or even today. There are people today stealing birds from the wild, selling them on Gumtree and Facebook, especially Gumtree, because everything is unregulated. I've been telling you there's no industry in Australia that is regulated. Everything's unregulated. But the difference with selling furniture and selling birds is you got to understand one thing. And I know a lot of you don't want to hear it because it's going to make you feel guilty as hell. All birds have the identical psychology and physiological problems as people. Do you understand that? Do you understand that? So it's like you now getting your children, your human children and your grandchildren, and forcing them in bed with anyone or a partner and forcing them to breed. And then what you're doing is you're stealing the baby from your children and grandchildren, and you're selling them on Gumtree and Facebook and in the markets and the black markets. And it's not just the poor lazy Australians and the middle class lazy Australians and the rich greedy Australians who are abusing and exploiting birds and parrots. Right? Amongst them are the drug dealers, the druggies, all these lazy people who, instead of going out there and working an ethical, honest job, they prefer to take birds, buy them, steal them from the wild or from anyone, and breed them and sell them. It's all about money. I have been interstate to ranches of thousands and thousands of birds screaming their heads off. I had to shut my ears. I couldn't tolerate the screaming and the cries from the birds. So this is big business. Do you know that after the arms and drugs industry, birds are the biggest business? Biggest business. Now, I know from adopting a lot of birds and rescuing a lot of birds. Come here, Calvin. Come here, Calvin. Oh, he'll come in his own time. That a lot of you who own birds do not know what's happening out there. Because sadly, even during the time of the internet, you haven't bothered or made time to research what is happening with birds out there. You haven't done it. And don't tell me you don't have time. I tell you what, that's an excuse. And I'm not going to apologize for speaking raw and honestly and saying the truth. Because when you have human children, you quickly research which schools you're going to take them to. You research what foods you got to feed them. You research what medical attention they need. You haven't done that for birds, because if you research what's going on with birds, to care about them for medical attention and foods and their accommodation, you would have come across websites and Facebook pages that show you how monsters people are in Australia. I call them monsters because a monster has no empathy. A monster has no feelings. A monster does not care about anything else but to destroy. And what you've all done, willingly or unwillingly, is you have destroyed your birds' lives. You have destroyed them. And a lot of you have done it mistakenly. You didn't mean to do it. Just like me, when I started out over 20 years ago, I didn't know much about birds. Come here, Calvin. Come here. Come here. You want to come over? You'll come over in his own time. Right? You didn't do it on purpose to harm them. But where you are accountable and where it is your fault, it's all right, Jules. Jules knows I'm talking about something serious here. Just a little cognac. It's all right, Jules. And her boyfriend's gone in the other room so she misses him. I'll just wait for her to stop. What you haven't done is you haven't researched about birds, because you would have known that every single day, 24/7 in Australia, birds are being exploited, abused, kept in horrific conditions, kept in cages in prisons. No, leave that. Kept in cages and prisons, because they are prisons, for years of their lives. And yet, no, Calvin. See, Calvin has been taught, he's got a lovely owners, but has been taught and has been allowed to chew everything. And Calvin, from the first day that he's come, has cost me thousands of dollars because he's destroyed and chewed everything. Little Kanye, you'll see him, he'll fly in here. Right? So I don't understand why a lot of you have babies, you have children, you have grandkids, and you'll research, take them on holidays and do all that. Why don't you do it for birds? Do you understand that birds have wings to fly? And someone's going to tell you this. No, Calvin, you're not chewing the phone. Birds have wings to fly. They don't have wings. I mean, do you see them in the skies? They're flying. They're not in cages in the skies. They're not chewing cables or walls or houses in the skies. They're chewing trees, which is what they need for their beaks and their and branches for their beaks, to keep their their beaks in control, manageable. But what's happening in Australia is that even good-hearted people have not made the time and the effort to research about birds. Birds are not, no, you see, he just won't stop trying to destroy my phone, because this is what he's done in the past. You see, every time I adopt and rescue different birds, I know the background of the birds, regardless of what people have told me, because I look at how the birds behave here, and I know, okay, this is what they've done before. Do you understand? It is not natural for birds to be indoors in an environment, even the way I have them. But if I leave them out, they'll be killed from other birds. A lot of them don't recognize other birds. A lot of them don't know how to be around other birds. I mean, Calvin is a son conure, and I've had him around, and I've tried to introduce him to another similar looking conure, and he's just not interested, because he doesn't know what another bird looks like, his type of species. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come on. It's a serious problem, friends. We got to stop this breeding. We got to stop this breeding. I beg you, if you are breeding, or if you have friends who breed, or family who breeds, open your fat mouths, because we've all got a fat mouth. We've all seen it on Facebook. Open your fat mouths and tell them to stop breeding and stop selling. Birds are not toys. They're not rocks. They've got a heart. They've got a soul, they've got brains, they've got all the same psychology as us. And you don't get it. You are allowing a slave industry out there, a slave rape industry out there. Because most breeders are forcing the male birds to rape the female. And how they do it is they stick him in a cage with just a stick. You're lucky, actually, if it's a stick. Probably some of these stupid cement and plastic rods that they put in the cage. The birds have nothing else to do all day. They flip it in the brain, they go crazy, and they rape and kill each other. The female weakens and is constantly used as a breeding machine. Come on, Calvin, come on. Do you understand that there's a whole rape industry of birds in Australia? It's all over the world, but I'm talking about Australia. I mean, you go to markets, we go to markets, you go to different events, and you see the rotten monster bird breeders selling their budgies and canaries in little boxes. Use your brains, please. Is that natural? Is that normal? And then you're carrying your little budgie and canary and your Annie parrot in a little box. And you're taking them to stick in a little cage. Even worse, in your kitchen, in your living room, in your laundry, in your bedroom. Birds do not belong like that. What has happened with our brains, friends? This is a serious problem. You see, birds are flying out in nature. So why do you think that it's okay to keep your bird locked in a bedroom or in a laundry? Or it's all right, slowly he's coming up here. Good boy, Calvin. Good morning, darling. Good morning. I mean, where's the common sense? Would you keep your children like this? This is what you don't get. Is that birds are plucking, birds are picking, birds are chewing, birds are biting. Because they're not in their natural environment. You do not see wild birds doing these things, this behavior. This is happening because humans are not thinking with their brains. It's all right, Jules. It's Jules the Cognac. She knows what I'm talking about. I know. She knows. They know. And a lot of you might be thinking, parrots, you're full of feather brains. Well, it's better than drug brains or alcoholic brains. I live with parrots for over 20 years, 24/7 with them. 24/7. And I am an innate counsellor, innate clairvoyant, innate psychic, innate medium, which means I was born this way. I didn't study books for a weekend and become a Reiki master. This is natural in me. I've been like this from a little girl. I have the deepest empathy. I have not met others. I'd be lucky if I've met one or two people who have the deepest empathy that I have. I have met psychics and clairvoyants who eat chicken, who eat animals. You can't be a medium and a clairvoyant and a psychic and eat animals, because as a psychic and clairvoyant, you'd be able to see what's happening to animals, and you'd know that the psych, because the psych of birds. All birds have the highest intuition and highest clairvoyance and psychic ability. All birds. I've lived with cats, I've lived with dogs, rabbits. They're all highly intelligent. But what happened is, because the birds have the same psychology as people and the same psychology and physiology as us, right? That should give you a hint that they're connected to the human type soul. Closer. Do you understand that birds are not toys? They're not to be made fun of. I look at videos on TikTok and Facebook and I cringe. And I think, you bastards, you absolute rotten bastards, the way they use birds, you know, dancing, making fun, and the way they treat them like they're an ornament. And I can see telepathically in here, the birds are saying, you bloody idiots, to their owners. See, what Calvin does is he's chewed. He's made holes in all my clothes. He's destroyed all my clothes. He's just a crow out there and he got scared. He's destroyed all my clothes. I've never had another bird who's chewed and eaten all my clothes. And what happens is they learn this habit from wherever they've come from, because a lot of birds have got many owners, right? And they've had this because they didn't have branches and leaves to chew. They only learnt to chew whatever was in front of them, and that would have been textiles, fabrics, clothes. Every bird I adopt has got different habits. Every single bird. Friends, we have to stop this breeding. We have to stop this breeding. I could easily today rescue over 1,000 birds. I have knocked back people with birds, especially the cockatoos. I've got so many stories to tell you, you wouldn't believe it. I had this young couple in their late 20s, early 30s. The female was, the woman, the girl, was jealous that her partner, you could tell, was jealous that her partner was treating the cockatoo they had as a baby. He was treating the bird like a baby, right? It's not natural for a masculine man to treat a bird like a baby, right? A straight man. You don't do that. But it was obvious the bird didn't like her, because you could read from her body language and her eyes, she was jealous of the bird because her partner was spending more time with the bird than with her, right? So when they came here and brought their cocky, and I saw that he was holding the cocky like a baby, I'm thinking to myself, I'm not going to fucking hold the bird all day. I'm not here to look after someone's baby. You undo the baby habits first, and I told him that. You undo and create a bird and bring the bird back to a bird, not a human baby, and then I'll help you. Because I don't have time all day to be holding a cockatoo in my arm 24/7, treating like a baby. I mean, this guy was crazy. This guy was crazy. I mean, which male in his late 20s, 30s treats a cockatoo as a baby, and the cockatoo always wanted to be held in the arms. You don't treat birds like a baby. Because what happens is cockatoos that live over 100, this cockatoo's going to be like this past 100. I don't have the time, and my role is not to undo what you can do. Now, if the bird was in a abusive situation, I'd grab the bird and I wouldn't say a word. I wouldn't say a word. But they had money. They had time. Right? It's just that the partner, the female partner, she was jealous of the bird. And they didn't want to live with the bird. Well, I'm sorry, that's not my job. If you can afford it, and you go and live, and you change your accommodation, friends, accordingly. I've always wanted to live in the hotels all my life and have a butler tend to me and all that. That was my life from young. That's how I wanted to live, in a hotel, condominium, and have butlers and cleaners and whatever while I'm doing my career. But my life took another turn. I had to come out and live in the suburbs because I needed the land to build aviaries, to have parrots. You change your lifestyle, friends, just like a lot of people have children. They leave the city living and they move, out in the country or out of the city, an hour out, because their kids need more bedrooms, they need land to play. Right? It's exactly the same with birds. You have to change your lifestyle for a bird. The bird does not change their lifestyle. Come here, Calvin. He's chewing everything. I'll just wait. Birds do not change their lifestyle because of you. You don't get it. Come here, Calvin. Up here, Calvin. Up here. Calvin, come up here. Good boy. Come on, I know it's a bit hard to get up here. Good boy. Good boy. I love you too. You have to change your lifestyle because of the parrots. I don't care if you don't like living in that suburb, or you want to live your lifestyle on holidays. No holidays. No time out. That's how it is. That's how it is. You have to change your lifestyle. Just like you change your lifestyle for children, you have to change your lifestyle for parrots, for birds. And same with canaries. You've got to set up beautiful enclosures for them. Covered. So that outdoor, half covered. They need company. Never leave a bird on their own. Birds are a flock of animals. A flock of souls. Do you see any birds on their own? When you see a bird in the wild on their own, their partner is either lost or has been killed. Because Australians love shooting birds for fun. They love shooting birds. You're meant to socialise a bird with another bird. You don't leave them on their own. Would you live on your own all your life? Well, if you would, there's something wrong with you. Because as human beings, we need human interaction. You can't isolate yourself away from everyone. Birds need bird company. If you're not prepared to look after birds, don't buy a bird. If you see a bird in trouble, yes, you buy them. I'm not against the adopt. I don't say don't adopt birds, but don't buy birds. Because if there's a bird that needs to be saved from a shop, you save the bird. I mean, how cold and ruthless are these animal rights people who say don't adopt the bird or don't rescue a bird, don't buy, sorry. How can you see a bird suffering in a shop or in a market and not want to rescue the bird? This is how they lack empathy, a lot of these animal rights people. They don't give a shit about birds anyway. There is no one in Australia, no animal group in Australia who cares about rescuing birds and about birds. No one does. I contact Voiceless. They don't do farm animals, of course, because it's more convenient for them. Not interested, they said. I've contacted the Animal Justice Party. They don't care either. I've contacted Animals Australia. Glennis said to me, no, Paris, I won't help you. I said, Glennis, can you help me? I told her around 4 years ago. I asked her, no, not interested. They're not interested. No one cares about birds, you see. Because why? Because they don't know birds. They don't understand birds. And because they know birds are the most complex animal of all the species, just like humans. We are the most complex species on this planet, psychologically and physiologically. It's exactly the same for birds. It's identical, exactly the same for birds. So people don't want to go there. They're not interested. And I find that horrific because if you love animals, it doesn't matter who they are, because they're not whats, they are who. They're male and female. Whoever they are, they need to be understood. They need to be saved. They need to be rescued. I'm getting bombarded and bombarded from people dumping their birds, even from interstate contacting me. I'm getting bombarded. And yet I've asked many times online for people to help and to rescue and to adopt birds from me. And no one's interested. You see, I have a strict policy. You're not going to breed and sell. You're not going to breed and sell. And by the way, friends, there's not one rescue place in Australia that's legit. Not one. Not one rescue place that is legitimate. That really knows how to care for birds and look after birds. Because I know a lot of them. I know a lot of them. And the problem is that a lot of these people that run these, there might be one or two interstate. But the problem is that they're not really speaking out for birds, right? For whatever reason, professionally or whatever. But the thing is that they are immature. There's one of them interstate she's very immature. Like, she judges me by my other beliefs and what I'm doing, veganism, or I hate that word, or any other beliefs I have. Like now, for instance, people are judging you whether you believe in a royal family or not. I mean, there's something crazy in people's brains. There's something crazy. There's something seriously sick in people's brains when they are judging you by which political party you follow and whether you follow a monarchy. I'm not even going to get into that now, right? The topic is birds. The topic is birds, friends. If you see me caring for birds, speaking about birds ethically, professionally and right, I mean, it doesn't matter what else I do in my life. I'm not impacting you. If you're putting the Queen and political parties, no, you stay on the tea-towel, please, ahead of the welfare of birds, there's something wrong with you up here. My journey and my priority and my life and my whole lifestyle has changed. My whole lifestyle has changed the past 15 years because I've focused on parrots, on rescuing parrots. This was my focus because I was seeing that no one is really looking after them. And I've got to tell you, I have yet to meet a wildlife person who really knows how to care for birds. They don't know. They think they can grab them with nets. That's different in an emergency. In an emergency, it's different. You grab anything. Right? They don't know about birds. They don't know because we don't have the education in Australia. There's no vets that know about birds. There's 0 vets in Australia who know about birds. 0. Right? There might be a couple who could talk about their dietary intake and a bit about their behaviour and that, but they're not going to go too far because 99.9% of vets are all close with the bird breeders because they're making money from the bird breeders, you see. So they're not going to speak against the bird breeders because vets, 99.9% of them, just like, human doctors, it's all about money. Most of them. It's all about money. And this is a problem now with humanity. But there's no excuse because we are during the best time where we all have access to the internet. We all have access to phones. And you can all see and research what is happening in the world of internet. Jump on my my YouTube pages. Jump on my TikTok. I don't have time. Jump on I'm upgrading my website. It's taking me 10 years to try and upgrade my website. Because I'm getting ripped off by so many website designers. They're all crooks. 99% of them are crooks that I have dealt with, right? They all ripped me off and didn't fix the websites. Do you understand that this is a serious problem, friends? Because they are exactly the same as people. So when people say to me, oh, I've got to travel, or my kids don't like it, or my husband don't, I'm thinking, well, this is another child. You've got to learn of how to socialise yourselves with the bird. Now, you see, Calvin doesn't stop picking his feathers, doesn't pull them out, because he's upset. He's so used to being constantly with his owner, his previous owner, that when I don't pay attention to him, he's constantly doing this. He's not picking, though. But it's going to get there, to the picking. It's going to get there. I'm trying so hard. I've got other parrots here to socialise with. Now, I said not to have birds inside, right? I've got my house set up for parrots. It's not set up for visitors, human visitors. It is not set up for me or Philip. It is set up for the parrots. Right? It's got to be. Because this is a temporary sanctuary at the moment until we build our permanent one. Our permanent sanctuary. Right? It's a temporary one. Because the temporary is costing us, probably has cost us over $300,000. All from our mortgage friends. You know, I hear a lot of people out there, again, their brain is not quite with it. They say, oh, such and such is using their money for rescues, such and such is using their money. Well, how am I doing it? It's from my mortgage. How are we doing it? It's from our mortgage. Taking money out of our mortgage. We don't have a money tree. Right? It's from our mortgage. No chewing. No chewing. No. Because I'm not talking to him. He's going straight to the cables. And all birds are having their habits. Have their habits. Please, friends, you have friends and family who breed, stop them. Tell them it's wrong. Just tell them that the birds, the facts, the birds have the same psychology and physiology as people. So that way maybe they can feel a bit guilty that they're exploiting lives. Do you understand? They're not toys. And when you see videos on TikTok and the internet and all that, where they are exploiting birds and people swearing at the birds and talking to them wrong, you tell them that is wrong. It is not cute. Birds are not cute. Birds are not cute. A toy is cute. A baby's not even cute. Come on, I mean, seriously, you look at a human baby, really, they're all ugly. We're all ugly as babies. We're not cute. Right? Toys are cute. Please, friends, you got to help me here. You got to stop this bird breeding and these bird sales, because there are millions of birds in Australia that need to be adopted and rescued. And the more breeding there is, pounds euthanize them. Breeders kill them, break their necks when they don't breed. It is not natural for a bird to be a plucker, to pluck their feathers. That happens because the environment is shit, is not conducive for the birds. It happens because the foods aren't right for the birds. How much are you washing them? What are you giving them? No chocolates, no avocados, no coffees, no sugar. None of these stupid pellets that are full of maltodextrin and colours and flavourings. You don't give them MSG. You don't give them these kind of things. Birds do not eat pellets in the wild. Their body does not know about pellets. This is all marketing and business. Birds eat fresh fruits and vegetables and grey sunflower seeds. Grey, not black, because they're more fatty. Unless your birds fly around a lot in large aviaries, you can give them black. Sunflower seeds have unbelievable vitamins. All fruits and veggies have unbelievable vitamins. Nuts. But your birds have to fly. Get them out of the prisons in cages. They do not belong in cages. I have seen messages from people. I've got to tell you, friends, I would have to spend hours to tell you of the posts and the emails I get from people. You wouldn't believe it. There was a lady on Facebook who said, how can I teach my bird, I've got my bird indoors flying, but he's shitting everywhere. How can I teach my bird not to shit everywhere? Can you see something wrong here? Can you see something wrong here? Imagine a woman, who you assume is more maternal, has asked, how do I teach my bird not to shit in the house? I mean, that is beyond madness. That is beyond madness. That is beyond madness. It's like saying, how do I toilet train my kids? We are toilet trained as humans, but birds shit everywhere and anywhere. You don't toilet train them, and some people have toilet trained them, but that is wrong, because a bird's got to go and it's got to go. You know, what if you trained them I mean, it depends how you've trained them, but you don't. You just let them be. And yes, birds are going to shit everywhere, and you've got to be cleaning everywhere, and all day, every day. Because that's what birds do in nature. They don't do what this one's doing or what all my other parrots are doing. Because we have taken them out of nature. We've taken them out of a natural environment. It's like me taking you now, a human who's grown up in Melbourne, taking you to the forests of Africa, no clothes, no nothing, and say, there, survive. Are you going to have the tribes, because there's cave people out there. You're going to have the tribes out there who are going to talk with you, and you can say, I don't understand their language. I don't eat the shit that they're eating out there in the forest. I don't have the culture. That's not my lifestyle. I was going to restaurants and cafes, you'd be saying, in Melbourne. But no, there, you've got it all because, you know, the men in these tribes have 1,000 women, raping 1,000 women, having 1 million kids. Right? Do you understand, friends? Parrots, canaries, who are not parrots, budgies are parrots, birds are not meant to be in cages, imprisoned in cages. They're not meant to be acting this way. You don't see parrots in the wild doing this. They only do it after they've had a bath and they're grooming themselves. But this is not a natural behaviour, Calvin. Do you understand that, friends? Birds are not toys. Birds are not toys. We have to stop these horrific monster breeders in Australia. Every single week, there are bird sales in Australia. Google it. There are bird sales everywhere. These are psychopathic men. Go to the bird sales, those of you who have birds and who love birds, and see how horrific they treat it. They have them in little cages in boxes. I've got images of this stuff. I've got videos of this stuff that I've gone and I've taken footage. And they know they're wrong. That's why they won't let me go to the bird sales. The other thing is that I almost stopped the bird sales in 2014. But what happens is that these bird breeders have gone to the Labor Party, because it's the Victorian Labor Party and the state Labor parties that are allowing birds to be abused and exploited. The Liberals don't care. They're not interested. I've contacted them. The Labor Party, they're allowing it, and the bird breeders are actually hanging out with Labor people in the Labor offices, sucking up to them, saying, we'll vote for you if you let us breed and sell birds. And Labor says, okay, because we know that the Labor Party have sold their souls just for votes. There's no ethics in the Labor Party. There's no ethics. I expected better from the Labor Party because, as the name implies, it's about the working class person and to have some ethics. There is no ethics in any political party. Like I said, the Animal Justice Party don't give a shit either. They are, the Labor Party, a union party. The Animal Justice Party is not a legitimate party. I wrote policy for them for 3 different issues, including companion birds. They don't care about animals. They just copy and paste what everyone else has done. And they're just fundraising and giving the money to the Labor Party and the unions. They are a fake party. The Animal Justice Party is a fake party. And those of you who are still with them, you're all frauds. Because you know now, 10 years later, what's happening in the Animal Justice Party. But you're all in the fraud game and all the other shit that's going on in the party that a lot of us know about, all the corruption and all the other, I can't think of the word now, that's happening in the political party. There's no Animal Justice Party, it's all bullshit. We have to, as people, speak out to our friends and our family and to when we go to markets and say, that is wrong. So what's happening now is a lot of these bastards, it's predominantly men. Of course, their wives go along with it because it's money for them, you see, for them to go to Bali and do their nails and shit. It's predominantly men because men are psychopaths that are doing it. They're psychopaths, not narcissists, psychopaths. Because a psychopath has a criminal element to them, and this is a crime. Abusing and exploiting birds is a crime. So a lot of these older men who are over 60, they're all going to die off, right? And there's a lot of birds. They either kill them or they sell them off, or they're not going to contact me because they don't want me to see their facilities and to see how they've abused. Because yes, you can report them to the RSPCA. You can report them. And if you push the RSPCA, they actually might do something. This is the problem, friends. There are thousands, if not millions, of birds in Australia that have been exploited, used. You know what they do? They steal the eggs or the babies from the parents. So imagine now you've just had a baby. Imagine if I came down and stole your baby to give it to someone else. Would you like that? So why is it okay for parrots? Do you know how they grieve? It destroys them. That's why they're plucking, and that's why there's birds that won't even come near me. They're so scared of humans, it's not funny. So I just let them be. I don't train birds. You don't have to train them. They've got their own brains. They do whatever they want. I guide them if they need. But they know exactly what they want to do. Do you understand that eggs are stolen? People get hundreds and hundreds of eggs from the birds, and they keep them in incubators in their bedrooms so that they hatch and they sell the birds. The black market. Online. Gumtree everywhere. Birds are not cute. Stop saying birds are cute. Because people are going to get the wrong idea. They are angels. They're not cute. They're angels. And a lot of you who have blocked me, they're not even seeing my videos. Most bird people have blocked me, who pretend that they're behaviorists, because they're not, right? And who breed birds, and who then sell them as babies or give them away as babies. How can you give a baby away when you've been feeding a baby and the bird knows you as their mother? How can you give the bird away? But you prefer to block me. You don't ask me advice, Paris. Why do you say that? Oh no, these people don't ask for my advice. They'd rather block me. All the lost bird groups have all blocked me because they're all fake groups. The lost bird groups on Facebook and online are fake. They pretend that they're rescuing birds. They might do it for a couple of them. But it's where they're actually swapping birds. And there are no rescuers, like I said in Australia. Do not trust any rescuers. Because they're all dealing with their breeders. They're all liaising with the breeders. I've dealt with one in Queensland. I thought we were friends over 10 years ago. She turned around and told me something stupid. Right? So I don't trust her because she took the breeder's side. And then there's another young girl over in Western Australia who rescues budgies and stuff and whatever. Right? Something happened with her. She had a fallout with me over stupid things. Over stupid things. They don't want to learn from people. They don't want to learn, especially the young ones that are under 30. They don't want to learn. They think they know it all. They have cutesy little birds and they think they know it all. It's a serious problem, friends. It's a really serious problem, and I beg you, you got to help me somehow. If you can adopt birds, if you can rescue birds from me, if you've got the money, because you need money. You need money for medical care. You need to set up aviaries. You need time to spend with them. You need to have fresh fruits and veggies. You can't just get a bird plonking and that's it. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way with birds. There is a serious problem in Australia. There are millions and millions of birds who have been exploited, used and abused, and no one is doing anything about it. No, Calvin. No, Calvin. And no one is doing anything about it. No one. Because there's too much money involved. Please, if you have birds, educate yourselves about birds. Make sure your birds always have other bird company. Make sure your birds have got the best housing, has got the best foods. They've got to eat and drink better than you. Filtered water, not tap water. The best naturopathic vitamins. You can't have birds on their own. Never keep birds around dogs and cats. It's a matter of time before the dog and cat. I see it all the time. People contact me all the time. Oh, the dogs were okay and the cats and the bird for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and suddenly the cat and dog, ate the bird. I hear it all the time. And nothing. Never, ever, 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 ever kiss your birds on the beak. And never put your mouth and saliva on the birds. Because their mouth has got all the viruses and bacteria. And you're passing that on to the birds. Who the hell kisses anyone on the mouth? You shouldn't even be kissing your kids on the freaking mouth. Because you're passing your viruses and bacteria. I mean, 2022, and people still don't know that our mouths, our nose and our ears are full of viruses and bacteria. And I see people kissing the birds. I'm thinking, what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing? You can put your cheek to their feathers if you want to have some, intimate contact, some nice contact. But you are not the bird's sexual partner. You are not the bird's sexual partner. And when you're kissing the birds on the beak or you kiss them anywhere, the bird's going to see you to have sex with as your sexual partner. And that causes so many behavioural problems with the birds and causes them confusion. They're thinking, you're giving me a sexual kiss on my beak or on my body, so why aren't you having sex with me, the bird's saying. Because they don't know any different. They don't know any different, especially if the birds haven't been around other birds. And even if they have, if you keep them on their own, they're going to want you. They're thinking, why isn't my master, my owner, or my flock, part of my flock, because we're part of their flock, why aren't they having sex with me? Do you understand that sex is so natural with birds? They do it every day. I have it here all the time. Just like we have sex. Birds have sex. I told you that. Identical psychology to people. Identical physiology and problems as people. No. Stop giving him this rubbish from the shops and the supermarkets. Don't feed him that rubbish. It is rubbish. It is full of chemicals. It is full of toxins. It's full of rubbish. That's not how birds should be fed. No pellets. None of this bullshit foods from the supermarkets and the shops. You give them fresh fruits and veggies. Sunflower seeds have got unbelievable vitamins. Right? I'll be putting all my links up on separate posts because they're good for us. People eat sunflower seeds too. We have to. They need all the vitamins that we need. I can't speak about pigs and sheep and cows because I haven't looked after them. So I can't speak for what vitamins they need. But all birds, they all need vitamins. We give them bok choy organic every day, at least $500 worth minimum each week, just on bok choy. Just on bok choy, $500 worth minimum. And they have their silver beets, and I wash them 10,000 times. You've seen me in my kitchen, not my kitchen, my sink outdoors. I wash them. My hands are in water all the time. All the time. I can't wear gloves. Even the powder-free gloves, I can't because they still cause some irritation. So I use my hands. Do you understand, friends? Parrots and birds have the identical, see, he's not happy because I'm not talking to him, because I'm talking to someone else, have the identical psychology as people and the same physiological problems. It's time that Australians started researching about health. And all my health, I get all from Anthony William. All my stuff about foods and veggies, and because birds have herbs. Did you know that horses, there's a company called Country Park, and they've got huge bags of raspberry leaf and all sorts of herbs that birds can also have. And I get them from there because they're cheaper, a bit cheaper than the human. They're all human grade, right? Horses eat human grade foods. They give them the best naturopathic vitamins and all that. And I do the same. I get my vitamins from Green Pit and I give them Anatone. Please, friends, birds are not toys. They're not decorations. They're not to be stuck in cages. They're not to be treated and sworn to and spoken bad to. No cigarette smoking around them. If you're on drugs, you shouldn't even have anyone or anyone around you. In fact, if you know someone who's on drugs and has got birds, you should take them immediately away, the birds from them. Right? Anyone who's got severe schizophrenic issues, anyone who's a criminal, anyone who's a druggie, anyone who's an alcoholic, these people should never have, should never care for humans, let alone for birds. They're not toys, friends. You have no idea how the hardest being to look after on this planet are birds. The hardest. They just fell in my lap. The hardest are birds. You can't just leave them there with the seeds and water, see you later, and that's it. The hardest. The hardest. I wish one day I would be able to have a camera on me 24/7 so you can see how my day is here. Because you just see me, smiles or with the birds or whatever. That's nothing. That's nothing if you see the stories of the birds who I adopt are horrific. And like I said, there's a lot of people that don't know about parrots. They haven't made the effort to research about them. And they would be good people. And they didn't make the effort. They didn't know. But then there's people who know and they're purposely exploiting and abusing birds. I'm about to rescue another cocky who for 35 years has been in a cage. Has not flown. 35 years in a prison Now, you know what's going to happen? You know how we all have adrenaline? It's the same as birds. So when you're when we've all been in a scary situation, haven't we? So what do? We either freeze, or to survive, if it's days, months, years, our adrenaline keeps us going. We say, well, I've got to survive this situation. It could be a flood, it could be a fire, it could be an abusive situation. So your adrenaline keeps you going. And then once we're out of that situation, then we drop our defenses. And what happens is when you drop your defenses, that's when the body starts to expose all the health problems. And that's when you start crying. You know, like when you're in a relationship and someone has hurt you, you know, and you're trying to keep the relationship going. And then, let's say it's a man and he's betrayed you and he's left you. That's then when you start crying. You go, oh, I tried everything to do everything, and he's betrayed me, and you start crying, and you let it all out, and the body drops its defenses. The adrenaline goes haywire. The cortisol levels hit the roof. Cortisol, S-O-L, not cortisone, cortisol. We've all got cortisol levels, right? It's the same with birds. So what happens when the birds come here for the first week? They are still the way they were before for the first 1-2 weeks. And I just don't bother them. I just let them be. I allow them to observe and analyse and look at what I do every day, all day, my routine, the other birds around them and all that. I allow them to do that. It's always the 3rd, 4th week, they go feral on me. They're letting out all their frustration. And I tell them, that's okay, let it out. Let it out. So what I do is I make sure they always have plenty of apples, you know, fruits and veggies, because of the glucose. They need the glucose to balance out the stuff in the brain, right? We need glucose for our brain. And I try to calm them down with the vitamins and the fruits and the vegetables, because they've gone haywire. They're letting it all out. They're letting out their sadness. They're letting out their frustration. They're letting out their fears. They're letting out their fears. I have birds that have taken years to come near me. I have a cockatoo camel who was stolen from the wild probably 40 years ago. Come here, Calvin. She will not come near me. But she loves it when I give her showers, you know, gently with the hose. She trusts me. She won't come near me. She's petrified. Petrified. Do you understand? It's like stealing a child from a family and putting him in another environment. Unnatural environment. Imagine taking a child, a human... Stop it, Calvin. Imagine taking a human child, friends, and putting him in the zoo, which is not the human environment, right? Which zoos should not exist. Should not exist. They're all about money. It is tragic that we have animals there. They should be more like rescue sanctuaries, the zoos. They should not be about people going visiting, gawking them. Would you like it, friends, if people come to your house and gawking at you when you were having sex, when you were having a bath, when you were pregnant? Would you like that? Can you imagine how the animals feel being stared at like that? If you want to learn about animals, there's plenty of documentaries that David Attenborough and others did, and are still doing, about animals in the wild. We don't need to go to the zoo up and close and impose on them. Anyway, the same thing is happening about birds. Please, I beg you, friends, I beg you, stop breeding, stop selling birds. If you have birds, please contact me. I can help you, I can teach you how to care for them properly if you love them. If you love them. So parrots, you know, people have told me, I've got birds in a cage, what do I do? And I'll teach you and I'll help you. If you can afford it, you can donate to our sanctuary. Right? I have a lot of expenses. Like I said, just on bok choy we spend at least $500 a month. A week, just on bok choy, $500 a week. On apples, we give, and we get them $2 a kilo, the best apples. We find different places. We get at least, I use it over 100 kilos a week. Because there's also a lot of wastage. They could shit on it, so I throw it out. If you shit it on your food, would you eat it? No, you throw it out. Because even if you wash it, the germs because all shit has got viruses and bacteria, it goes through the food. Birds love to throw things. They love to throw things. I have a lot of wastage too. I try not to have a lot of wastage, but I can't control if they pick it up and throw it or whatever. And that's why I'm very fussy with the cleanliness, infection control, and I'll wear shoe covers in the house. Right, because I don't want the rubber from my slippers picking up the bacteria and passing it around. I'll wear the surgical shoe covers. I don't think I have any here. It's in my drawer, in my office drawer. I keep them all over the house, so that when foods fall on the ground, it's clean on the ground. You never wear shoes inside a house anyway, because you're bringing in the germs from outside, you're bringing them into the house. You never do that, whether you have birds or animals or not. You leave shoes outside, or leave them at the front door, inside the front door. So please, friends, I beg you, ask me for help. I'm not going to judge you. I might say, gee, you really are silly doing that, but I'm going to judge you myself. Of course, it's human nature for me to judge you. But for you calling me for my help, I'm going to commend you for that. Like I've done that to many people. I'll commend you for asking for my help. Everyone is dumping their birds. They're going on holidays. They're having babies. They're divorcing. They're dying. They're separating, moving interstate, and they can't take the birds with them. They're downsizing. They don't have space. They can't afford. Everyone is dumping their birds. Everyone. I mean, I get messages, like I got one last night at 10:30 at night. You know, from a lady who said, oh, you know, that one of her family members has got a serious mental health issues, and they've got 20, and he's got 20 birds, and she needs to get rid of them. I'm bombarded. I'm bombarded. I need people to help me. Please, if you've got the resources and you're able to set up a nice aviary, you can buy the aviaries, set them up, and to care for birds and look after them. Please, and I'll teach you, I'll help you. Please, can you please help me rescue birds? But we've got to stop the breeding. If you know people who breed, tell them to stop. Tell them to stop breeding. If you see birds in shops, pet shops, restaurants or whatever, who are in little cages, tell me. And tell the owners, take photos, send them to me. I get this every single day. Every single day of my life. I get people saying, Paris, these birds are like this and this. And I try and help. I try as much as I can. I'm on my own. I do it by myself for this stuff. It's very hard, right, during the day. Philip helps me after hours and weekends. It's really, really hard. And in fact, Philip does a lot of the rescues because I can't get off the property. So he'll go and do the rescues in his suit after work or during work if he can get away. It's a serious problem, friends. It's a really serious problem, please. We've got to stop the breeding, the bird breeding. We've got to stop the bird sales. Go on Gumtree. You will have a heart attack. Those of you with empathy and those of you who love souls and love birds, you will have a heart attack. Look on Gumtree what they're selling. Look on Gumtree how many birds they're selling. And these are adults. And these are all adults who are psychopaths up here. And it's all about money. That's the only reason they're doing it is for money. Now, if you're doing it just for fun, well, that's wrong because birds are not toys. You're not meant to be breeding your budgies or your birds that you have them. And the other thing is, friends, you need to know, children are not meant to care for birds. You can be with them and supervise them, but birds, children cannot be responsible for birds for two reasons. One, a person's brain develops at around 26, 27. So you can't expect a young child or a teenager to know how to look after a bird. You can't. They don't have the knowledge yet to be responsible enough and the logic to know how to care for birds. You, as the parent, can be with the children and you can say, now we've got to do, you do it together, always together, or supervising. So now make sure you go and feed, you know, Calvin, that's his name, you know, always supervising, always making sure that you are there, because the bird might bite and the child might hit the bird or something's going to happen. You always, always, always supervise. Yes, our brains develop at 26, 27. That's provided, of course, you haven't had alcohol and drugs up until 26, 27. It's a serious problem. No one in Australia is speaking out, other than myself, to stop this bird breeding and these bird sales. We need to shut down the whole industry. And what's going to happen is there are millions of birds that will need to be rescued. But breeders are so criminals bird breeders and so psychopaths, there's a difference. So psychopaths is that they will actually kill all the birds. They will kill them. Because they are cruel, mean people. They even, in fact, they are worse than the puppy farms. They're worse, even worse. I mean, we've heard some horrific stories about puppy farms, right? The bird farms are worse because in one cage, you keep one dog. They keep them in cages. I've seen them at dog shows. The dogs, they actually keep them in cages where the dog can't even move. But in one cage, they have 100 birds. Can you believe it? And the other thing is, friends, I'm doing this at the moment. I'm setting up a parrot resort. A proper parrot hotel. Because at the moment, birds are kept in garages, right? People pay them cash to keep the birds so they can go on holidays. In basements, in kitchens, in living rooms, in laundries, bedrooms. I've seen it. I've walked into a lady who was bird boarding in Dandenong, and she had in the kitchen a fridge. She had a cage around 80 centimetres wide, not even 70. And she must have had around 6-7 cockatiels in there, plus all the closed, plus all the toys. Like they couldn't fly, they couldn't move, right next to the kitchen. And the cage was right next to the deck, and on the deck they were all smoking. This is where people are leaving their birds when they go away on holidays and doing whatever. Is that right, friends? You smoke in front of birds. You keep a bird next to electricity. I've seen that at vets. I had Rosie at a vet, and they kept the housing, the stainless steel housing of Rosie's right next to a power plug with its electromagnetic frequencies. Why would you keep anyone sleeping and eating and recovering next to a power plug? It's releasing electric energies. Why would you do that? Electromagnetic energies. You don't keep birds near electricity or radiation or microwaves. If you want to kill yourself with cancer with microwaves, fine, but don't keep birds near radiation and electricity or TVs or anything electrical. You don't do that, friends. It's common sense. Where's your logic? They're picking up the radiation. And then you're wondering, oh, my bird's not happy. My bird's died suddenly. Or my bird's picking. Well, where is the accommodation of the bird? Where are you keeping a bird? They don't belong like Tweety had in, what was that show, that cartoon we used to watch growing up? You know, in a little cage like that. It's not like that. Birds need to be able to fly free. I made the same mistakes. And I learned. Birds have identical psychology. And I've met people who I've now estranged with who had birds and said they loved birds. And when I told them that birds have the same psychology as people, they laughed in my face. Why? Because I told you something you don't know about? If you tell me something I don't know about, I'm not going to laugh in your face. I'm going to make inquiries. I'm going to ask. I'm going to say, thinking of a name, you know, Lisa, why are you saying that? Please teach me. Don't laugh in my face. I'm telling you something that's a fact, something that I'm living 20 years. Why would you laugh when I'm telling you that birds have the same psychology? Because you feel guilty of the way you've treated birds, that's why. Get over that narcissism. No, that's narcissism. That's narcissism, because when I do something wrong and you point out to me I did something wrong, I'll admit it. I'm not a narcissist like that. But we've all got narcissistic tendencies in us. Birds have identical psychology to people. Get that. You adopt a bird, you rescue a bird, you have it's like having a human member in your family. They're not children. It's not a child. It's different when when a bird is a baby, and then, you know, 1 year old or 2, they're still young. But even at 2, they're breeding and having other babies, so they're not children. Birds do not have the brain or the behavior of a child. They have the brain and behavior of a adult, of a well-functioning, meaning person. Because I've got to tell you, friends, there's not a lot of people out there who are thinking clear today. There's not a lot of people who are thinking clear. At all. At all. You may be happy to dump your kids to kindergartens and dump your kids to whatever while you're working, living your life. You cannot dump birds. You cannot dump birds for others to look after them. You can't do that. They need to have this secure, safe environment, an aviary preferably. They need to have their environment. They need to be amongst nature as much as possible. It is the most expensive being to look after is a bird, because we've got to try and manufacture a fake environment for them, and that costs a lot of money, and it takes a lot to clean and maintain and do all that. It takes a lot of money, a lot of resources, a lot of time. So please, friends, help me please to stop bird breeding, to stop bird sales. Report to me and send me emails or texts or call when you see birds in abusive situations. This is a serious problem. It is the worst crime after guns and guns and drugs. The worst business for these horrible psychopaths who are exploiting and using birds just for money. And they're not fun. They're not a toy. I'll repeat it again. Birds are not toys. They're not for fun. Please call it out. I don't care if they're your parents, your grandparents, your relatives. Call it out. Call it out. If you shut your mouth knowing that your birds are in cages and are not out free, then you are just as much a psychopath as the person who's doing it. Because if you don't have the empathy to know that that bird is stuck in a cage and should not be in there all day, every day, then you have no empathy. You have zero empathy. There's no excuse. You cannot turn a blind eye to something you've seen. You've seen abuse, you've seen neglect, and you've seen birds live in unnatural situations, and you've done nothing about it. You are just as guilty as the person who's doing it. So this is the reality about birds. If you're angry with me and you're pissed off, that's because you have done or you're doing something abusive to birds. So get off your narcissistic ass, switch your brain around and say, okay, what can I do to give my bird a better life, a better natural bird life? They need a lot of time and a lot of patience. The most expensive and the hardest souls to care for on this planet are not human children, they're birds. The hardest. Can't let them roam like you do pigs, sheep and cows and horses and all that in the paddocks. Doesn't work like that. We have to undo everything that people have done to birds. They have destroyed the bird's psyche. Calvin doesn't know he's a bird. All my other birds don't know they're birds. They didn't know when they came. They do now. And how I know is because they started to have the wild behaviour traits. You see, that's what I want. I allow my parrots to be independent and to be free and to allow their mind to think the way they would in nature. Right? And they have those wild behaviour traits. And that's how they should be. They shouldn't be in our arms like babies, or they shouldn't be, picking like this because I'm not talking to him all day. And like I said, a lot of you have done things without knowing. You didn't do it intentionally. But most people, 99% of people who breed and sell birds, 99.9%, if not all of you who breed and sell birds, you know that what you're doing is wrong, and it's only about money or swapping birds. It's just for fun. You're just doing it for fun. You're not doing it for any other reason. It's just for fun. Birds are not for fun. They're not toys. Thanks for listening. I've got to let you guys go. I've got a lot of work ahead of me today. Please help me, friends. And if you can adopt and look after any birds, and like I said, I'm here to help you guys, please do. I really need a lot of help. Not just in Melbourne, in all of Australia, I need people to adopt birds because I'm inundated every day with birds calling me, with people calling me to adopt their birds. And at the moment, like I said, I'm in a temporary setup here. It's going to take us at least 6 months, a year to set up our permanent sanctuary. I will always need help for people to adopt and rescue birds, please. There's got to be someone with empathy out there. There's got to be someone out there who loves birds and who wants to look after them. There's got to be. There's got to be, friends. There's got to be. And like I said, I'm always here every step of the way to help everyone. Okay, everyone. Thanks for listening. Ban bird breeding and ban bird sales. Okay. Calvin, you want to say goodbye to everyone? You want to say goodbye to everyone, Calvin? Here you go. Say goodbye to everyone. Okay, you're not a toy, are you? You're a living soul and you need to be treated accordingly. They're not toys. They're not toys. And you see, he won't stop because I'm not talking to him. He knows I'm talking to someone else. And he doesn't like that. But he'll learn slowly that even if I'm not talking to him, that I still love him and that I'm still part of the flock. Because I'm part of their flock. They're not part of my family. That's how it is with parrots. It's all right, Calvin. All right, everyone. Have a great day wherever you are. Bye, everyone. Bye.